Have you ever noticed that the most devastating fights in your relationship don't start with something huge? They start with nothing. You're home. You're calm. You're scrolling, working, or just lost in your thoughts. And then, out of nowhere, a comment, a question with a sharp edge, a sigh, an accusation that feels way too big for the crime you supposedly committed. You forgot something small. You didn't reply fast enough. You looked distant for 5 seconds. And somehow that tiny spark turns into a full-scale emotional war. You stand there thinking, how did we get here over that? So you do what you've been trained to do your whole life as a man. You go logical. You try to solve. Okay, what's wrong? Let's break it down. Tell me the problem so we can fix it. Why are you overreacting? This doesn't make sense. And the more rational you become, the more emotional she gets. You try to calm it down, she escalates. You try to solve it, she gets more upset. You reach for logic, she experiences rejection. You think you're de-escalating the situation. She experiences it as you pulling away. You think you're offering clarity. She feels like you're invalidating her entire inner world. That's when you need to understand something brutally simple. The fight is almost never about what you think it's about. You think the fight is about the trash, the text, the tone, the timing. It's not. On her side, the real question sounds like this. Do I still matter to you enough to impact you? That's the core. That's the wound. That's the entire war hiding inside one stupid argument. The hidden function of drama. It's not chaos. It's a tool. You label it drama. You see volatility, irrationality, overreaction. But if you zoom out psychologically, drama is not random at all. It has structure. It has goals. Drama in relationships does 3 things extremely well. Capture attention, tests emotional investment, controls the emotional climate. Let's start with the first one. Capture attention, why a quiet request loses to a loud argument. In your world, attention is split between 1,000 things. Work, money, goals, stress, your own thoughts, your phone, your habits. In her world, emotional connection is the oxygen. If it feels like the oxygen in the room is thinning out, her system goes on alert. A soft, calm request for closeness can be ignored. Hey, you seem distracted lately. Can we talk? I miss how we used to be. You cannot say, yeah, and go right back to whatever you were doing. Not because you don't care, but because your brain files it under, I'll deal with this later when I'm free. But a raised voice, a sharp accusation, a tear that suddenly appears mid-sentence, you don't file that for later. Your whole nervous system snaps to attention. Your phone goes down, your shoulders tense, your heartbeat changes, your focus narrows to one thing. This moment, this person, this conflict. That's not an accident. Whether she knows it consciously or not, conflict is a guaranteed attention-hacking tool. Negative attention is still attention, and many women, especially anxious, emotionally hungry, or wounded ones, instinctively learn soft equals ignored, loud equals seen. If she can't get your full presence with warmth, she'll get it with war. To you, it looks like she's blowing things out of proportion. To her, it feels like she's fighting for the relationship's life. Number 2, testing investment. Do I still move you? Underneath most emotional explosions is a very simple fear. Have I lost my power over him? Not in power in the domination sense, in power in the attachment sense. Am I still the one person who can reach him, Do I still matter enough to impact his emotional world if I'm hurting? Think about the last time you stayed too calm during a fight. You were proud of yourself, right? You thought, I'm not letting myself get triggered. I'm being mature. I'm not yelling. But look at it from her unconscious perspective. She throws accusations. She cries. She raises the emotional temperature. And you sit there like a stone. Okay, I hear you. But this isn't logical. Let's not get emotional. Calm down. To you, that's controlled behavior. To her, that's a nightmare. Because her internal story becomes, I scream, I cry, I break down, and he doesn't move. I don't affect him anymore. I don't matter. At that point, the fight isn't about the topic at all. The topic is just the stage. She's actually stress testing this. If I push, does he react? Does he fight for me? Does his voice shake? Does his face change? Does he show me that I still have a place in his heart strong enough to disturb his calm? When you stay totally detached, she reads it as, he's already halfway out the door emotionally. That's when she escalates. Harder jabs, deeper insults, more personal attacks. Not because she likes pain, but because pain is the only thing that in her mind proves you still feel. Ironically, your emotional explosions often reassure her that you care. Your emotional distance often terrifies her that you're gone. That's why some women walk away from a huge argument, and they're calmer, softer, even affectionate afterward. They got what they were actually seeking. Proof that they can still reach you. You walk away drained. She walks away reassured. You think, this fight almost destroyed us. She thinks, this fight showed me we're still alive. Twisted? Yes. Uncommon? No. Number 3, emotional climate control. Training you with your own nervous system. After a while, drama stops being just reactive. It becomes strategic, often unconsciously. She learns something crucial about you. If I create emotional chaos, he rearranges his behavior to calm me down. And she's not wrong. You change your plans. You apologize when you're not wrong. You stop doing things you enjoy to avoid upsetting her. You adjust your opinions, your actions, your boundaries, just to get some peace. This is how psychological conditioning works. Stimulus, trauma, crying, shouting, withdrawal, guilt trips. Your reaction? Fix, reassure, give in, comply. Repeat that cycle 20, 50, 100 times, and you've just trained yourself to fear her emotional state and obey it. You become externally regulated. Your inner peace now depends on one thing. Is she okay with me right now? When she's calm, you exhale. When she's tense, your body tenses too. When you sense her mood shift, you immediately scan. What did I do? What does she want? How do I stop this? You stop being a man with a center. You become an emotional thermostat she controls. And here's the really dark part. The more you reward drama with compliance, the more useful drama becomes to her. Why would her nervous system ever give up a tool that gets instant results? Different nervous systems, different reality. Now, let's go deeper into the biology of this. When a fight erupts, you and she are not in the same inner world at all. Your male nervous system is wired heavily for fight or flight. Conflict equals threat. Your body pumps cortisol and adrenaline. Your system narrows to one mission: eliminate the problem, escape the chaos, get back to calm. You feel your chest tighten, your jaw clench, your brain sharpen or shut down. You're looking for an exit. Solve it, fix it, or leave the room. For you, there is no enjoying the process. Conflict is pure stress.
Now, look at what happens in many women, especially those with anxious or chaotic attachment patterns. Conflict doesn't just release stress hormones. It can also release bonding hormones like oxytocin when there is crying, hugging, intense talking, repairing. So for her, a big emotional showdown can become a twisted hybrid of pain, intensity, and connection. You know that sick feeling you get from too much caffeine and no sleep, but you keep doing it because it makes you feel something? That's how some people relate to emotional conflict. They hate it, but they're also alive in it. So you crave silence after a fight. She craves processing and talking more. You try to shut it down. She tries to go deeper in. You're trying to save your nervous system. She's trying to save her attachment system.
You see a battlefield. She sees a chance to finally say what she's been holding in. So you say, "Okay, can we drop this now?" And she hears, "I don't care enough to sit in this with you." You are trying to quit the torture. She is trying to finally be fully seen. And that mismatch destroys you both. Childhood. Why a reaction is older than you. Now, let's rip open the floorboards. Most intense drama in adult relationships is not about the present. It's about unfinished business from the past. The girl who grew up with an emotionally distant, distracted, or unpredictable father learned a brutal rule. If I'm calm and easy, I'm invisible. If I explode, cry, or cause a scene, people finally respond. The girl who watched her parents only show passion during screaming matches absorbed another rule. Real love looks like chaos, shouting, and intense reconciliation. Calm is fake. Drama is real. The girl who felt constantly on the verge of being abandoned learns, I must constantly check if the person I love is still here. If they pull away, I am in danger. So now, fast forward, you walk into her life. You might be the calmest, most rational, softest man she's ever met. Doesn't matter. Her nervous system doesn't see you. It sees a pattern. Here we go again. A man. Peace. Silence. Is this safety, or is this the calm before he disappears? If she grew up in emotional chaos, your peace doesn't feel like peace. It feels like emptiness, like a horror movie where nothing is happening yet. That's when she unconsciously pulls the fire alarm. Not because she hates you, not because she loves pain, but because her system doesn't know how to relax instability. Stability feels wrong. Chaos feels familiar. And human beings always crawl back to what feels familiar, even if it hurts. Trauma bonds and intermittent reinforcement, why it gets worse over time. If you mix calm periods, plus sudden huge fights, plus intense emotional closeness after the fight, you've just built the psychological equivalent of a slot machine. You never know what's coming. Love or attack, peace or explosion, warm affection or cold withdrawal. This intermittent reward pattern is the most addictive behavioral pattern we know. You don't get constant love, you get random highs. And your nervous system becomes hooked on the spikes. Both of you. You're tired of the drama, but you're also addicted to the sweetness after reconciliation. She's exhausted by her own emotional storms, but also addicted to how close she feels to you when you finally break down and tell her everything. So neither of you fully leaves. You just ride the highs and lows. Congratulations, you've just built a trauma bond.
when it's not just attachment, when it's pure chaos. We need to draw a line here. There are roughly two categories. One, the woman who uses conflict as a broken way to seek closeness. She freaks out, gets dramatic, overreacts, but after she feels seen, she can soften, apologize, grow. Two, the woman who lives off chaos. She isn't looking for repair. She just wants perpetual emotional games, control, and power. How do you tell the difference? Look at what happens after the storm. Does she calm down when she feels you're present with her? Can she own her part? Can she say, "I went too far"? Or does she look almost bored when things are good, pick new fights out of nowhere, never take responsibility, escalate every boundary you try to set, punish you when you try to detach? If it's the second case, you're not dealing with female psychology. You're dealing with a walking chaos generator, often with deeper personality issues you're not going to fix. And if that's the person you're with, your task is not to understand her. Your task is to leave before you lose your mind. The exit strategy, not from her, but from the game. You can't update her evolutionary programming. You can't erase her childhood. You can't uninstall her attachment wounds. But you can do one thing that changes everything. Refuse to be emotionally programmable. That starts with 4 brutal shifts. Shift 1. Stop feeding the fire with your reactions. Her nervous system is addicted to one thing: your emotional spike. Your shouting, your panic, your desperate fixing, your endless explanations. That's the drug. The more you give, the more her system learns, if I press hard enough, he breaks. When he breaks, I feel significant again. So you have to do something difficult. Stay present, stay grounded, but stop performing. That sounds like, I can see that you're really upset. I'm here, but I'm not going to yell, defend, or play the blame game. We can talk when this calms down. No lectures, no emotional speeches, no 3-hour explanations you've already given 20 times. Calm, short, firm. That's how you stop being her emotional puppet. Shift 2. Build boundaries that actually bite. A boundary without a consequence is a wish. You can say 1,000 times, "Don't talk to me like that. It's not okay to insult me. I won't tolerate screaming." But if you stay every time she crosses those lines, your nervous system learns one rule: this is my life now. A real boundary sounds like this. If you yell, I will leave the room every time. If you insult me, I will end the conversation for today. If this pattern doesn't change over time, I will end this relationship. And then, here's the hard part, you follow through. Not with rage, not with punishment, with calm certainty. When you say no more and your feet actually move, your words suddenly develop weight. Until then, you're just background noise to her nervous system. Shift 3. Offer positive intensity, not just silence. If all you bring to the table is quiet, don't be shocked if someone chaos-coded tries to inject noise. You don't fix drama by becoming a stone. You fix drama by leading the emotional space in a better direction. Positive intensity looks like spontaneous plans, deep, honest conversations that go beyond logistics, sharing your fears, hopes, failures, physical closeness without an agenda, doing hard things together, projects, challenges, travel, growth. In other words, you become the architect of meaningful emotional experiences, so drama isn't the only source of feeling alive in the relationship. If you refuse to provide any emotional depth, don't be surprised if the relationship collapses into toxic intensity. Emotional sovereignty, the unbreakable center. This is the real endgame. Emotional sovereignty means you feel your emotions, but you are not ruled by someone else's. You care, but you don't abandon yourself to keep the peace. You can love deeply without letting your sanity become negotiable. In that state, her storms look different. You don't panic, you don't chase, you don't collapse. You observe. You ask, is this someone trying, clumsily, to connect? Or is this someone addicted to chaos who will burn everything, including you? If it's the first, you can work with it, slowly, with mutual responsibility. If it's the second, you walk away, not because you're cold, but because you value your life. You understand a simple law. You cannot heal someone's internal emptiness by sacrificing your own mind to it. That's not love, that's self-destruction. Final message. There's a brutal test you can use on any relationship. Ask yourself honestly, do conflicts here eventually lead to growth, understanding, and deeper connection? Or do they just reset the cycle of chaos?
If it's the first, you're with a human being who's wounded, but capable of growth. If it's the second, you're with a human hurricane who needs storms to feel alive. Your job is not to be the perfect firefighter for someone else's wildfire. Your job is to protect your own mind, your own center, your own future. Refusing to participate in endless emotional games is not weakness. It's not cruelty. It's not being cold. It's the highest form of self-respect. Because once you give your sanity away just to keep someone from screaming, you'll wake up one day and realize you're not in a relationship anymore. You're in a prison built out of your own fear of upsetting them. And the key was in your hand the entire time. Kings and queens, take your daily dose of Power Pill. Here we break down the dark psychology behind human behavior. If you don't want to miss what's coming next, subscribe.